Changes are needed at Manchester United after the Red Devils have only picked up 3 points from their opening 3 Premier League games following the embarrassing defeat at home to Liverpool on Sunday. Today in this video, we're going to be taking a look at analysing different things that need to happen, changes need to be made, decisions need to be made by the manager in order to revolutionise and change Manchester United's season going forward after the international break. We'll start with the positives, boys, right? And there isn't many. Number one, Manchester United's latest signing, Manuel Ugarte from PSG. I mean, this guy should have already been in to face Liverpool on Sunday. Yet again, typical Manchester United, we leave things too late and then we end up sacrificing points early in the league season, year after year after year. But this guy, I believe, will make a big difference, boys. He's a player in a position we need. He's a profile of player that we need. You know, he bites into tackles, tenacity, aggression, high energy. That's exactly what our midfield is lacking at this point in time. You look at our side this season and it flows back to last season as well, where it's similar patterns, similar themes appearing, where we are far too easy to just run through. Our midfield at times is just non-existent, and that's due to a mixture of just positioning and also just, as I say, not enough energy in that midfield, man, not enough mobility. So yeah, obviously we know Casemiro, we don't need to go into that. You boys have seen my reaction to the Liverpool game on Sunday, so we're not going to talk about his lack of mobility because we know that's obviously a problem anyway. Ugarte's going to be the future, you know, the replacement for Casemiro. This guy, I believe he's going to share up our midfield. As I say, he's the right type of profile player we need. It's not going to be a one-man job, so he's not going to be able to fix loads of things, but certainly in our midfield, I do expect this to be a little bit hard to break through with him in the side. And we know Ten Hag, boys, we've seen it with Xerxes, we've seen it with De Ligt this season. He doesn't like to bring new players in, new transfers in, and stick them straight in the side. But for me, Ugarte's now going off international duty with Uruguay. He has got to start that game against Southampton, man. And surely after the performance on Sunday with Casemiro, Ugarte's got to take his spot. And with Ugarte in the side, boys, hopefully we'll start to see this theme of being constantly run through and teams running through our midfield at ease and being able to get shot after shot after shot at our goal. Hopefully we'll see that, you know, go down a little bit. The number of shots at our goal every game go down a little bit with Ugarte in the side. Next up, boys, we're going to talk about Ten Hag, man. I mean, he's coming out saying he's not Harry Potter. Well, no shit, Eric. No shit. But you don't need to be. You don't need to be. Listen, you boys know I've been with Ten Hag all the way, man. I've backed him all the way. I've stuck with him. But as I said at the start of this video, man, it's going to be very difficult to see right now how he, you know, survives in this job until, you know, until Christmas and after Christmas. He is sacking himself with the decisions he's making. You know, listen, you can't pin everything on him. You know, I already said in my reaction to the Liverpool game the other day where certain players' attitudes aren't there, and it's just simply not good enough. And that's on them. And there's just players there that aren't, as I say, aren't good enough for the club. Ten Hag can achieve so much more with this team than he is doing. His decisions are questionable, to put it kindly. Sunday's game, you look at it and you go, right, why is Rashford still starting? It's just consistently bad decisions, game on game, week after week. Now, 2 weeks ago against Brighton, second league game of the season, he decides to play Harry Maguire over Matthias De Ligt. He doesn't like putting these players in from the start when they just signed. So De Ligt doesn't start, Maguire starts, and that backfired on him, as we've seen in the Brighton game. We all know how that went, because obviously the Maguire incident in the first goal cost us big time, man. If that was De Ligt there, the ball would have been cleared. And then, yeah, against Liverpool, on Sunday past there, similar things. He's starting Rashford. What has Rashford got on this guy? That's what I don't understand, man. And it was double trouble, because not only did he start Rashford and not have Ahmad and Garnacho, he had Ahmad on the bench, Garnacho started on the right. Why is he starting Rashford? Have Ahmad on the right, Garnacho on the left. Because he starts Rashford, similar performance from Rashford, as always, not taking on his man, body language not there, doesn't seem to be enjoying his football. And I like Rashford, but I feel really bad for him, because he doesn't pick the team. Ten Hag does, and he's still putting Rashford in. That was bad enough. Then, he brings on Ahmad late in the game. Who does he take off? Does he take off Rashford? No, he takes off Garnacho. I just don't understand it, boys. Our two most direct wingers that are going to actually create, if we're going to create things, they're going to be at the heart of it, because they're creative wingers, you know, especially Ahmad. Garnacho, I think, still has to work on that. His final ball is, well, Ahmad has to work on his final ball as well, but I mean, Garnacho is sometimes a little bit greedy off the wing, but he's certainly a lot more direct, a lot more exciting to watch than Rashford has been in the last couple of seasons for us. So that's another big thing. I just don't understand the team selections. He is sacking himself with some of the decisions he's making, and it just feels like you just can't get through to him, man. And the press conference, I'm sure you boys seen it, man. Post-match press conference, you know, the journalist is outing him for so many things that you know, continue to happen. And he's going on about trophies that we're winning, which is great. And we've won 2 trophies in the last 2 years, which is great. you know. We've won most trophies in England apart from Man City in the last 2 years. But he keeps going on about that, and that's going to bring us into point 3. What has changed? This is point 3 in this video, boys. What has changed? This is still, with very minimal tweaks, you know, very minimal tweaks, which I'll talk about in a second, but this is still the same side we've seen for many, many years now at Manchester United. You know, the counter-attack and relying on moments, Ollie football, Jose football, Ten Hag football. That's what we're seeing. There is minimal tweaks this season from pre-season up to the 3rd game of the season there on Sunday. You can see that there's a little bit. I can see little bits where it's like, yeah, there's a little bit more structure here and there in certain positions. You know, there's a little bit more. I wouldn't even say patterns of play because it isn't that, but it's more just a little bit more intricate football. Some patterns of play would be a little bit easier on the eye, but overall, when you look at the big picture, realistically, this guy's in his 3rd year in charge now. Not a lot is changing, man. We're still a counter-attacking team. We still don't really have much patterns of play. You know, you look at the best teams, the Cities, the Arsenals, the Liverpools. Not only are they can counter-attack, but, you know, the likes of Liverpool, of course, they've got that pace on the break. Of course they have. They did that against us in the game on Sunday. But they've got other game plans. They've got creative players that have a high chance of creation every game. And one of the biggest things as well is it's the sustainability of attacks. You know, constantly building pressure on your opposition defense. You know, we don't do that. We have an attack or maybe a shot, you know, or a cross in. But then there's none of our midfielders pick up the ball on the edge of the box, or you know, there's a loose ball. We never seem to win a lot of those. We don't seem to, you know, be able to sustain attacks. You know, you look at Arsenal, right? Say they attack with Saka, Ben White on the right side, they cross it in, ball's distributed out. They pick up that second ball. They sustain the attack. They keep building that pressure on the opposition, and more than likely, eventually, the opposition defense will crack and they'll score. With United, we don't. We're a counter-attacking side. We may create a couple of chances a game if we're lucky. When the ball gets lost or the ball gets put out of the box or cleared, we don't always win it back. And I think Ugarte, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I think he will help that, because as I say, with massive midfield issues, and it's not just being run through the midfield, it's also things like this where it's like, you know, Rodri for City or Declan Rice for Arsenal. They're the players that are the foundation of sustaining attacks, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks in a row for Arsenal, not letting the opposition have a breather, whereas we don't have that. You know, when the ball and our attack gets broken down, we're starting to back off again because we don't have the mobility in midfield to cope with the intensity. So yeah, I think Ugarte will hopefully he'll definitely plug a gap in that midfield for us, and it's much needed. And I think he'll be, as I say, he'll help in this department of kind of, you know, sustaining attacks. Will be nowhere near as good as City or Arsenal, of course, in that department, but it'll certainly be a help and a building block towards getting there. And finally, boys, as I've already talked a little bit about earlier in the video, the team selection, man, is just, it's key. He really is sacking himself, and the thing he's concerning me as well with his press conferences where he's talking about, you know, he's not Harry Potter, he can't make magic happen, and he's talking about the trophies. He continually talks about the trophies he's won, and he's a right to do that, because it is a big achievement winning both the trophies we did with the team that we have. He's got to remember, and I think he's blinded to this, where journalists had to go at him in the press conference on Sunday after the game, and he just talks about the trophies rather than, you know, acknowledging the journalist's point. And the journalist talks some shit a lot of the time, but in that occasion, the journalist was spot on, and I think it concerned me in Ten Hag's response, where he just instantly talks about the trophies rather than the football that actually won us those trophies. Because the football that won us those trophies wasn't league football. It wasn't our future. It was just literally counter-attacking football. And as well as we played in that final last FA Cup final and beat City, you know, it was counter-attacking football and moments football again that won us the game, and a few mistakes from City in there as well. So, you know, the football that we won the Carabao Cup with a couple of seasons back and last season's FA Cup win, that's not the future of his style of football, or the style of football he should want to play, or the style of football that we want to be associated with. It's a counter-attacking style, but this is year 3 now for Ten Hag, and we want to see more from the points I've you know, reiterated in this video, where it's, you know, sustainability of attacks, the way Arsenal play, City play. They sustain and constantly put their opposition team under pressure, and their opponents under pressure every game, and they've high chance creation, high amount of shots every game at the opponent's goal. We just don't have that yet. I just don't know whether Ten Hag's, you know, he's blinded by this, because he just does not seem to see it, man. Or maybe I hope he does see it, and he's just not saying so in the press conferences. But it is worrying when you watch the press conference and you look at it and go, right, he's saying what we've won, and rightly so. But how did we win those trophies? Did we win those trophies with the amazing style of football that, you know, is our future and the way we want to play going forward, or did we win those trophies with you know, a counter-attacking style that, you know, we're trying to transition out of and move into a more all-rounded, should we say, style of play? We really do need to see that adaptation in the style of play from Ten Hag this season, but will we see that? it remains to be seen. Big thanks for watching, boys. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video. Get your comments down below, man. If you're a United fan especially, but also if you're neutral fans, get in the comments. Let me know. Where do you see Manchester United finishing this season in the league? Let us know. Do you see us going on a cup run again? Maybe we could. I mean, this is the thing. We are a cup team when we're playing like this, because we can beat anyone on our day, but long term we know it's just not sustainable. So the style of football that we're playing. So get your thoughts in the comments. Appreciate you boys watching. Please do hit that thumbs up if you can as well. I'd really appreciate that. Helps push the video out more. And yeah, subscribe of course as well. And we're pushing towards 500 subscribers on the football channel. So yeah, if you're new around the channel, please do hit that subscribe button for us. Drop a like, and I'll see you very soon, boys. Peace out.